Hey everyone, I just wanted to film my wrap up for the Contemporaryathon round 1, and I'm pre-filming this before the end, so I'll add on my final pages in the description or the comment below. Right now, so far, it's 1 o'clock on Sunday, and I've read 2,388 pages, which I'm impressed with. And I did fulfill all the challenges. So the first challenge was to read the most recent contemporary book you purchased and acquired, and I said I was going to read Roomies by Christina Lauren, which I did, and I gave that one 4 stars, I believe. And in this one, Holland works with her uncles in New York City, and she kind of stalks loosely a street musician that she names Jack. And one day, this guy pushes her onto the rails of the subway, and Jack calls the ambulance and saves her. And eventually it becomes Holland and Kelvin's love story, and if you can get past the trope of fake relationship, because his real name is Kelvin, and he needs a green card to stay in the United States. He's been staying there for 4 years illegally. So they get married, and it's a cute love story. I mean, it does have its problems, but overall I really enjoyed it. So there's that challenge. And then I read First and Then by Emma Mills for the Read a Book with Blurple on the cover. And this is a very loose retelling of Pride and Prejudice. And in this one, Devon's the main character, and they're in high school. Her best friend is Cass, and she has a cousin that's kind of like a brother because he lives with them, and his name is Foster, like Colonel Foster. And there's a football player, Ezra. And this story is good. There's a lot of depth to it, but I also wish there was more. I really enjoyed the love story, but it was just such a short read that maybe they could have extended it by 100 pages. But I gave that one 3.5 stars, and I cannot wait to move on to This Adventure Ends, which I know Julie from Pages and Pens loves that one for the friendship, and I'm all about the friendships. So there's that challenge. The next challenge, the third one, was to read a diverse contemporary, which I said I was going to read Dear Martin for Black History Month by Nick Stone, and I read it, and I really liked it. I think I gave it 4 stars. And in this one, it opens up with Justice, and he is trying to save his ex-girlfriend from driving home drunk, and the police misinterpret it and arrest him. And since he's black, I think that's the reason why he was arrested. But anyway, this really good short read, I think it's only 210 pages, looks at racial profiling and how it affects everyone, and it's such a good read. I didn't like it as much as the Hate U Give, but I also think this equally deserves a spot for like required reading for like high school students. I think a lot of people could get a lot of things out of it, at least empathy, if nothing else. I do recommend it. From there, the 4th challenge was to read a dark, emotional, hard-hitting contemporary, so I read The Wife Between Us by Greta Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen, and I gave this one 4 stars as well. All I think you need to know about it is what it says here. While you read this book, you will make many assumptions. You will assume you are reading about a jealous ex-wife. You will assume she is obsessed with her replacement, a beautiful younger woman who is about to marry the man they both love. You'll assume you know the anatomy of this tangled love triangle. Assume nothing. I highly agree with that. I think you should go in that way. At first I wasn't sure how I felt about it, but it does have a lot of twists and turns, and I highly recommend it. I really liked it. And for the 5th challenge was to read a contemporary that you meant to read in 2018 but didn't. And the 7th one was to read a contemporary with some sort of picture on the spine. And I said I was going to read Bad Romance by Heather Demetrios, and I did. This read, I didn't know what to expect. Whatever it was not this. I think I still gave it 4 stars. I gave it 3 stars. And in this one, Grace comes from a haunted home, a difficult childhood, and she meets Gavin. And Gavin was in her friend circle. He recently tried to commit suicide, and they end up starting to hang out together. And it took a while for me to get into the story because she's writing as if she's talking to Gavin. And the topics in this book are so emotional and hard-hitting. It's difficult to read about on that, but you also you want to keep reading to know exactly what happened. And I know Kayla from Books and Lala was talking about it a lot, and that's what made me want to read it. I don't think I liked it as much as she did, but I still enjoyed it. 3 stars to me isn't bad, and that's what I gave it, so. The last challenge I needed to do was read a contemporary in a non-traditional format, so I picked up Fence, the graphic novel, Volume 1. I really liked it. I loved the illustrations, and it's a slow burn, but it's a fun story. Yeah. I think this is one of the graphic novels I enjoyed the most, so I highly recommend that. I'm looking forward to reading Volume 2, but my library does not have it, so I'll have to see if I can get it in the other system. We'll see if I can do that. The other books I tried to pick up were the ones that I was already reading from my February TBR. I finished Dear Mr. Knightley by Catherine Rie, and I finished the last 231 pages of that one. And it's written in letter form from Sam. She is an orphan, and she gets a grant from the graduate program, but to fulfill the terms of it, she has to write Dear Mr. Knightley, updates on letters. So that's what she does. So mostly letters to him from her. And she talks about her life during those 2 years and the struggles and the other orphans that she knows and their struggles, a few of them anyway. At first it took me a while to get into it, but overall I really enjoyed it, and it's a really loose Jane Austen retelling. I gave it 4 stars. My only beef is that I feel like there's so many references to books read and characters and relationships, and I read every Jane Austen one, so those are no problems. But there's some books that I don't know about, so I feel like some of the references were lost on me. But I've heard so many good things about her as an author, so I wanted to check out her ones, and I think I'll try to check out a few other books too along the way. But I do recommend that for any Jane Austen fans. I also read the last 231 pages of Batman Nightwalker by Marie Lu. I DNF'd Wonder Woman, the first book in the series, the DC Icons. And I wanted to give Batman a chance, because I grew up watching Batman. And this one also took me a while to get into, but the last few pages, last 150, I just couldn't seem to put down I was interested in the story. I'm giving this one a 3, because I think the first part was a 2, and the last part was a 4, so rounded as a 3. I'm looking forward to reading the third one, Catwoman Soul Stealer, I believe, by Sarah J. Maas. And she's one of my favorite authors, so I'm hoping that she does really well in this storyline too. Oh, it's not too bad. Short read, it's 250 pages. And one of my good younger friends gave me 3 books to read this month, and this is the first of the 3. Diary of a Wimpy Kid by Jeff Kinney. I've watched the movies a few times, so I knew what it was about. It's a quick read with journal entries, diaries, with illustrations, which is fun. And Greg is the main character, and he has a best friend, Rowley, who he's not too nice to, and an older brother, Roderick, which they get into conflicts and fights, and Roderick teases Greg, which I can totally relate to as the youngest sibling. And it's just about them and their family in 1 year in the life of a middle schooler. It's fun. I don't think I would have picked it up without my younger friend asking me to read it. The last book I completed reading was The Babysitter's Club number 16, Jessie's Secret Language. And in this one, they start sitting for a deaf kid, and they talk about learning sign language, and Jessie also talks about her love with ballet and dancing in the ballet that she stars in. So this one I'm giving 4 stars. The readathon still has a long like 11 hours left, so I'm going to try to sneak in maybe 4 of the next Babysitting Club books and a Pride and Prejudice graphic novel. The reason I'm pre-filming this is because I need to get to the library before the snow hits, because I live in the Midwest and there's a snowstorm. So I want to get some of those books back before they're due. So I'll just add in the comments, like I said before, how many more pages I read, any books I finished, and I'll be filming a separate wrap-up for the Babysitting Club, like I always do. So thanks for watching. How did your readathon go? I know I want to take a short break before they start the Thrillathon, and I'm looking forward to all those books I'm reading in too. I still have quite a few books I need to finish before the end of the month. If you like what you watch, hit the subscribe button, like the video, and check me out. I'm still getting used to everything. Eventually I'll show my face on screen, I hope. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.